Jonathan, this is a quick demo for you for your Korbanth TFU2. Just got it done today. As you know, I was waiting on the switches to come from Korbanth, but they just got here yesterday afternoon, so I was able to finish this guy today for you. Got the black wrap handle on here that you wanted. I will put the other brown wrap back in your box and send it back to you. Got the upgraded jewel on here, so your old one will also be in your box. And then I made you a 1-inch diameter Neopixel blade to go with this guy as well. So one thing I did on the outside, if you can see the two holes in there, like the one that's closest to your Neopixel pins is the blade retention right here that this hilt comes with. I went up a little bit and I drilled and tapped an 8/32 in here that you can see right here to give you a little more blade depth before you grab that blade. That way you can swing this around a little harder, beat on some stuff if you want, and not have to worry about the blade coming out on you. So that's what I did there. And I had to file that down a little bit to get any excess metal out of the blade socket. So there's that. Your front button here is going to be your activation. Your back button will be your auxiliary. And we'll open this up for you. Pummel's got a lot of threads. Here's your chassis. So you do have a removable battery system, 22mm Saber Essentials bass speaker from Custom Saber Shop. And then here is your removable battery system here. So the spring side is always going to be your negative. And then, you know, of course, your positive is over here by the speaker. So the battery orientation is super important on this, on any of them really. So just pay special attention to that's always your negative. There's two holes right here, one here and one here. They had set screws in them to hold this chassis. I've got one in here that I'm using right here, but I'm barely grabbing onto the chassis because it is such a tight fit that it really doesn't even need it. I just put it in there, barely grabbed onto it just as a peace of mind, but honestly, it probably doesn't even need that guy. And I went ahead and took this one out. The reason I took this one out is there's no piece of chassis right up there. That's where your board sits. It sits on a shelf. I got this guy right here. Well, this is actually for a same hilt, but for a Profi. But see, that's the shelf, and then your board sits right there, and then it would be inside there just like that. So I put it right in line with the switch box because the wires go over the top of the board. There's enough slack in there where you can pull this guy out and get to your SD card whenever you need to. So let's throw a battery in.
What is your will, my master?
I'll slide this on. As fast as I can. By the time you get this pommel on, your board will have gone to sleep on you, but that's okay. I'm going to put the blade in it as well. So before I put the blade in, this guy right here, this black emitter piece, this is the third one of these that I've installed this week, and all three of them had the same thing. This guy is a little loose. So yours I did a little bit differently. For this time, I actually unscrewed it, put a dab of super glue on the threads, and then screwed it back in tight. That way it won't come loose on you. That's what I did there. So I did sand down your blade right here on the part that goes inside the blade socket, because this is a really tight fit in here. So I sanded this down quite a bit, but not too much. I still wanted it to be nice and firm. If you find that you're having trouble pushing it right in, just give it a little twist as if you're screwing it in. So I'll go in here like this. It is tight, but then it goes down, right? And then when you're pulling it out, if you got to pull it out and it's having a hard time coming out, just as you're pulling it out, act as if you're screwing it in, right? Like you always want to go clockwise so you're not stressing the glue that I put on the thread for this emitter piece. You'll always just keep it tight. It is pretty tight on its own though. So we'll wake up the board.
What is your will, my master?
Activation. Tap for blaster deflex. You'll see them randomly on the blade. All that stuff back there is my wife's. We share an office. I'm actually probably going to set up in the garage to do these from now on because it looks ridiculous back there, but just know it's not my stuff. So tap for blaster deflex. Hold down for blade lockup. To change blade effects, you want to hold down your auxiliary and twist your wrist, but keep it held down. Keep holding it till you hear this. Now you can, for blade profiles, you can twist the hilt. Every time you hear it click, that's a different blade effect. That'll actually come across a lot. You'll see it a lot better in person. That one's pretty cool. It just randomly changes colors. Then I'll, here's a flame blade. Different things, right? I'm gonna find a solid color like this one. When you find one that you like, just tap a button. And then this one has a cool, there's a chaser when it goes down, and then another one when it comes up. So to change blade colors, hold down your auxiliary and twist your wrist, but then let go. You'll hear spectrum. Again, you can just twist the hilt to change colors. So every click is a different color. Here's a yellow blade right here. I'm not sure if that's showing up well on camera or not, but I know that you had mentioned most of everything you do will be in yellow. So there is a yellow option on here. Matter of fact, we'll just pick it now. When you find one you like, just tap a button. So then when the battery's still in it and you turn it off, but then turn it back on, it's going to remember that blade color and that blade effect. There you go. Pretty cool. So everything's working on this guy. Hope it turned out the way you like. I will package all of this up and get it shipped out to you first thing Monday morning. Thank you.